Hey y'all, I am J Nicole and I'm back again with my TV Talkback series. And in this video, we're back talking about Married to Medicine Season 9, Episode 2. So let's get into it. Before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, they're doing the little montage where we get to see what all the girls are up to. So we start with Quad and her nephew, and she's having a very important conversation with her nephew about makeup, lashes, and brows. He even tried to take her eyebrows off, so that was super cute. And also, Simone is speaking with an employee, I'm assuming. It could have been a patient, but it looked like she was an employee. And they was talking about pregnancy prevention and basically, what is the girl doing to prevent pregnancy? And she said, I'm grown, which I get it. Basically, she's saying, ain't no protection over here. What happens, happens. So, that was said. And then we have a little cute family scene with Anila and her kids. So, now getting into the episode. So in this first scene, Dr. Heavenly meets with Dr. Jackie because she says she has an emergency, and turns out she has not seen her period in like 2 months. So she makes the joke that she could be pregnant, but Dr. Jackie, and I'm pretty sure most of us realize that Dr. Heavenly is about to start menopause. So she's there to get some testing done, check her estrogen levels, and a bunch of stuff that went right over my head. But what I did notice in this scene, besides that outfit that Dr. Heavenly had on, was the fact that she gave us all of this unsolicited information about the fact that she does not really like to have sex with her husband anymore, but she is sure to give him a lot of head. So after that, she asked the confessional, is this too much information? And yes, it is. We always get a lot of TMI from Dr. Heavenly, so moving right along. So anywho, after Dr. Heavenly gets the testing done, she walks out of the office and she made sure to ask Dr. Jackie that she owed her because Dr. Jackie stayed late for her. And Dr. Jackie like, no, it's cool, and I respect it, Heavenly. Heavenly wants to make sure that y'all know that she pays her balances, unlike Miss Sheree cross town on Real Housewives of Atlanta. In this next scene, we're with Contessa, and she looks like she's in the backyard with her kids. So as Contessa is outside with her kids, Toya drives up with her 2 sons, and I guess they have like a little play date planned or whatever. And immediately I find it odd that these 2 women who haven't really gotten along in the past couple seasons are now really good friends. And all of a sudden it just strikes me that of course y'all getting along now because the common enemy is Heavenly. So you gotta film with who you gotta film with, but I don't know. Contessa came off kind of phony with that, but whatever. So when Toya and her kids come up, Contessa's youngest daughter, Layla, is like, oh, if it isn't the devil or something about the devil. And right off the bat, I'm just like, Layla in that mouth? Contessa made a point to say that she just kind of lets the kids, rock out, I guess, in terms of their personalities. But in my mind, I'm gonna need for you not to be so tired or so just aloof that you let your kids say whatever they want to say, because don't you have a whole problem with Dr. Heavenly in her mouth? I mean, that's how Layla could end up. So if I was you, I might nip that in the bud just a little bit. Like, I was an outspoken child, but I also was very mindful. Like, I don't know, these new kids. So anyways, of course Contessa is gorgeous, by far one of the most beautiful ladies on this cast, but this confessional look, ma'am, I don't know who told you these bangs and this ponytail it's just a mess. It's a whole mess. Not to get off track, but I like hair. I like beauty. I like all that good stuff. So every now and then I'm gonna take it there. Contessa and Toya get on the topic of Dr. Heavenly and, you know, her YouTube channel and her mouth and all of this stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, you didn't have a problem when Toya and Eugene were the subject of Dr. Heavenly's channel. But because you and Scott were the topic of conversation, now you don't like it so much. So, of course, with the subject of Dr. Heavenly and her show and the reason Contessa, you know, of course, the reason Contessa isn't talking to her, Toya then calls Dr. Heavenly a snake, which isn't really surprising to me. At least Toya is consistent. If it's two things about Toya, Toya gonna move, Toya gonna spend Eugene's money, and Toya does not really like Dr. Heavenly. This is clear, this is consistent through all the seasons pretty much. So next we're at Quad's house, and Quad is waking up her nephew. This cute little scene makes me realize that I'm very happy that Quad's family is living with her, and also the fact that we get to see something different from Quad. So I'm happy that she's back and she's a full cast member, because I can't wait to see what her mom and her nephew bring out of her. So next, Simone and Cecil are at dinner, and there are 2 extra seats across from them. And at first I think that I thought that it was probably going to be Toya and Eugene or whatever. But turns out it is for her oldest son, Miles, and his girlfriend of a year and a half. And Simone says, like, right off the bat that his girlfriend has been a great influence on him. And I'm like, most women are. So in this scene, they're pretty much catching up with their son and all that good stuff. And then Simone and Cecil reveal that they are writing a couples book or relationship book. And basically my reaction was the same as Miles. Like, he said, interesting. And I thought that was interesting too, because Simone can probably tell me how to run a medical office or go to school to be an OBGYN, but I'm just not really looking at her and Cecil for relationship advice. However, when you consider all of the years that they've been together and the editing that production did to show their growth through the past seasons and everything they've been through, is like, all right, I might, read the Cliff Notes for it. I don't know if I want the book, but it might be a little something there. So we're back at Anila's house, and the nanny is cooking, and she's putting the kids to bed. And so Anila and Dr. Kieran come in, and it looks like they're coming in from a date, but then they sit down to eat. So I was confused about all that, whatever. And the nanny has cooked this nice meal basically to let them know that she's about to quit and no longer work for them. And of course, Anila and her husband look distraught. And it's like, oh, you've been here since I was pregnant with my first child, blah, blah, blah. And the nanny's like, yeah, but I gotta go. So of course they're upset. And of course we'll get to see how this plays out, with Anila having to, juggle being a mom and her career like many other women. Or at the very least, have a new nanny search. And I know she's had that nanny for a very long time. But I couldn't help remember Contessa first season when Donnell Jones' mama was her kid's nanny and she would come to the events and get drunk and stuff? Good times. So now that all of that is out the way, we can get to the real good part of the episode. And we're at Heavenly's beauty supply store launch party or grand opening or whatever. If you subscribe to Heavenly's YouTube channel or you keep up with all of that stuff, Heavenly basically let us know that last year or during the pandemic, one of the ladies from Married to Medicine LA helped her kind of get her beauty supply store up and running, or helped her with, I guess, the vendors and the suppliers and all that good stuff, help her get on her feet. And so another stream of income. Heavenly not dumb. She gonna make sure she make a coin. And I love a good beauty supply store. Beauty supply stores are my favorite place on the earth because, you know, you have all these accessories and any new makeup. If you don't want to spend a whole grip at Sephora, you can go to the beauty supply store and odds are they will have some type of dupe that will get you through. And if you've seen some of the videos on my channel, then you know what I could do with some beauty supply store products. So I love a good beauty supply store. I don't like to put too many of my, I guess, goals or plans out there, but I've always thought about a beauty supply store. I know for a fact that black women are the largest consumers, the most frequent shoppers at beauty supply stores, but majority Asian people own them. And so I love a good black-owned beauty supply store, and I'm very happy for Heavenly when she decided to open one. And, you know, people be playing her, or people be trying to play Dr. Heavenly like, oh, well, she don't really keep her hair done, and nobody's looking at her for, you know, beauty tips or whatever, so why would she open a store? Have you been in a beauty supply store? Ain't none of the people behind them counters about to really give you no tips, but you still frequent them. You still go to them now, don't you? So anywho, now that that spill is out the way, Heavenly says Contessa has been distant, but she doesn't really know why. And it's like, okay, granted, Dr. Contessa hasn't pulled you to the side or hasn't straight up had a conversation with you on why she is not talking to you. But at this point, girl, you definitely have a good idea why she's not talking to you. So don't keep saying you don't know why. But anywho, as Heavenly is getting ready for the grand opening, Simone, Toya, and Contessa are headed to the grand opening. And I actually wrote in my notes that they seem like the new crew once again, because of the common enemy, Heavenly, which I think is lame, but y'all know how people are. So anyway, they're headed to the grand opening, and I guess the girls are Googling the address. And they're Googling the address, and like most new businesses, the address doesn't immediately pull up Heavenly store. It pulls up, I guess, some Christian store that used to be there. And so I thought it was kind of whack how the girls in the car are like, oh, she changed a Christian store to a beauty supply store? Yeah, that's what happens when one business closes, Toya. When one business closes and then you open up another one. And you run enough houses, so you should know how it is to change locations. So anyway, although Simone, Toya, and Contessa all have their feelings about Heavenly, I am happy that they're still coming to support her store opening. However, in this scene, we see Toya instigating and asking Contessa how she feels about Heavenly and does she think Heavenly will change after this conversation, and blah, blah, blah. And so Contessa is venting to them, and of course Simone and Toya get it because Simone and Toya have had this same issue with Heavenly. So next we see Jackie bring in her skincare to promote to display at the grand opening. And once again, we see the divide where we just saw Contessa, Toya, and Simone in the car. And at the grand opening, we see Heavenly, Jackie, Quad, and Anila. So these girls are there with Heavenly because Heavenly has them walking in her fashion show. So next we see Quad and Dr. Jackie getting ready for this hair show. And I immediately thought that if Heavenly truly wanted to showcase the products that she has at her store, she should have showed a variety of regular products or regular wigs that most women would gravitate towards, as opposed to like these couture kind of looks that she had on them. I thought Quad definitely made the right decision by telling them to take those, I don't know what that was, those horn thingies off her head that they can't find it at your store. Nobody's going to come to your store for that. That did not make sense. And then Dr. Jackie, which love to see her having fun and doing things different, but that frontal half up, half down fiasco she had on her head was just a whole... It wasn't age appropriate. It wasn't that great. Also, ladies, when y'all do the half up, half down frontal ponytail, y'all gotta add another bundle of weft to the top. That way the top isn't so small. Because you figure it's not that much hair on a frontal piece. So if you're just using that hair to put in a ponytail, that's how y'all get that real thin ponytail at the top with all the hair in the back. I don't know. That's just a tidbit. It's not a good idea. If you're going to do the half up, half down, it can be done, but you have to add another piece of track or weft or bundle to that top ponytail to make that look full. That way the whole style looks better and less wiggy too. So keep that in mind. And if the stylists knew what they were doing, if the stylists at Heavenly Show knew what they were doing, they would have done that. But either way, it just was a lot for Jackie. It was cute for the scene, but there's no way I would have been in that audience like, where these girls get them with? No. So anywho, next we see Heavenly meeting with Mr. Wright, who is a funeral director out of Florida. And I thought this was a genius collaboration with him and Dr. Heavenly, because there was a contract. They signed a contract for, I guess, 25 funeral homes or something of the sort, where she will supply the wigs. And that's an awesome idea. Genius idea. Like, never thought of it like that. When I think of funeral homes, I always think of the makeup, but never of the hair. So I thought it was great to see something like that on the show. And after Heavenly meets with Mr. Wright, she comes struggling in, walking with those heels. Which is funny because Quad pointed it out a little bit earlier when she was teaching them how to walk. But Dr. Heavenly comes in and she introduces Mr. Wright to Dr. Damon. And then all of a sudden we see Nikki Natural from Love and Hip Hop Miami. Don't know where she fits in with this group. I really hope I don't see her again. Did not like her on Love and Hip Hop Miami. But all of a sudden, the funeral director catches her eye, and then she begins flirting with him like, oh, you from Miami? Okay. And yeah, that happened. So anyways. So anywho, the car shows up with Toya, Simone, and Contessa. And Toya gets out. And then we're instantly reminded that Toya, two-story closet Toya, cannot dress worth a damn. Toya hops out the car with these combat boots, these Daisy Dukes, and this baseball tee with a word on the front, which later on I realized that her and Eugene are wearing the same shirt. And it's obviously, you know, in my mind I'm like, okay, so does Toya have a brand too? Because Toya is not known for businesses. That's a big critique that I've heard of her on this show, was that she hasn't seized the opportunity. We've seen Quad go on and do things. Of course, we've seen all the doctors with their extra ventures or whatever. Now we're seeing Simone with this book, but we've never seen Toya endorse or promote anything. I did something so that y'all don't have to, which is I went to the website that was on her and Eugene's shirt, and turns out Toya has some type of skincare line. Toya has some type of skincare line. No idea what it is. The website looks barely developed. I hope she doesn't plan on bringing it up throughout the show, because there's nothing there. Like, there's blog posts on the website from like 2020, a couple about washing hands and stuff, the beginning of the pandemic. still a missed opportunity as far as Toya goes. But anywho, when I saw her walk in with the boxes, Toya, if you was gonna bring something or promote something, why weren't you there earlier? You can't walk into the event while people are already standing outside with your box of stuff. Like, are you supposed to set up as the event had all? Child. Anyway, I'm an overthinker, and yeah, I don't know. Tacky Toya. Once Contessa is there, she realizes, she's like, where are the rest of the girls? And she realizes that they're in this fashion show. And all of a sudden, Contessa's offended that she wasn't asked to be in the fashion show. And for once, I agree with Toya, because why are you mad? Heavenly was not even sure that you were gonna show up. Y'all weren't talking. So was she supposed to expect you to want to be a part of a fashion show? Like, she kept saying it was part of it should have been an olive branch. And I'm just like, I don't know. Contessa is giving you a reason to be mad. And you kind of already have one. So now it just seems like any reason to be more mad at Heavenly when it made too big of a fuss about that fashion show. But I'm sure after she saw the show, she was happy that she was not in it. So the fashion show starts, and Heavenly is the MC. And it was funny for what it was, but I feel like if she truly wanted somebody to take it seriously, then she would have had a different MC, because she was the first person to walk down the runway, and she was announcing herself and talking about her wig as she was walking down. I don't know, maybe Heavenly figures she's her best hype man. I don't know. I'm putting way too much thought into something that Heavenly clearly could care less about. So moving right along. So then Jackie comes down with her half up, half down wig or whatever. But then she also has this dress on with these slits cut out the side. I don't know. It was cute. I don't know. It was cute or whatever, for Jackie. She was having fun, but... So then Miss Quad comes out, and Quad is serving. Her face looked amazing. She had on this full bob unit, and I'm not normally a fan of that, which hence Contessa early in the episode. But on Quad, it seemed like it was done right. And it was the only wig during the show that I thought to myself, I would wear that, because Quad made it look so good. So Quad came down that runway, everything. Next, Anila comes down the aisle. I didn't even know she was gonna be in the show. She has on this green outfit, and she's spraying spritz, got to be, I don't know what that was. She's just spraying it the whole time. It was really weird. If Heavenly truly wanted us to see Anila with something on, they could have gave her a ponytail or something. But, put some highlights in her or whatever. But, I don't know. Clearly something just for TV. Didn't know what Anila was doing. And then Nikki Natural, even that went above my head. So then Allura comes down with this blonde wig and these flip-flops. And I'm not going to talk about nobody child. But because I know about Heavenly's store, or I follow Heavenly closely, I know that that's the one thing she always mentioned when she's promoting her store is that, oh, I got 613 hair, 613 hair. Because if you know about hair, you know that 613, you can dye it any color. And so it's like, in terms of hair, it's about the most expensive you could get if it's good 613 hair. So it is a big deal. But on Allura, I didn't really get anything from it. Nobody, I don't think anybody would ever or should ever just wear just plain 613 hair on their head without at least toning it or, and some color to it, whatever. So Laura comes down in the 613 wig, and then that's the end of Heavenly's hair show. So like I said, I do think that if Heavenly wanted a hair show during her launch party or grand opening, she could have really taken advantage of all of the people being there by showing things that potential customers would want to get from her hair store, especially with the wigs and whatnot. I think she kind of dropped the ball in that area, being that all of the wigs looked very much one size fits all and none of them look customized. But I think regardless, her beauty supply store will still be successful because it's a sure thing. Like, if people know about it, they're gonna shop there. If your prices are reasonable, they're really gonna shop there. It's sure to make money. I'm sure the whole hair show thing was simply for the show. It was cute in concept. We got to see, Jackie and Quad. And if I was at the grand opening, then okay, you got to see some of the cast members in it. So it was cute as far as all of that is concerned, but as far as an actual, let me show you what we have in our store. So after the fashion show ends, all of the girls get together to take a picture, and it is very clear that Contessa is salty. She was kind of whining the whole time. Even when they went to take the picture, she was like in the back, off to the side. Not really becoming of you, Contessa. Like, it's clear that, she felt some type of way. And I really want her and Dr. Heavenly to be back cool. But even more so, I want her to finally get off her chest what's bothering her so much, so that they can begin to address it and get over it. So that was the end of the episode. I thought it was a pretty cute episode, especially once we got to the beauty supply store grand opening part. I'm still not really that invested in Anila's storyline, but I know that she gets along well with most of the girls, especially Quad and Heavenly. So I am eagerly anticipating next week's episode where they finally address Heavenly and everything that's been going on. So yes, that was pretty much the end of season 9, episode 2 of Married to Medicine. And speaking of hair, if you like these curls and this unit that I have on, or even the one that I wore in the last review, then these are custom wigs made by me. You can order one of your own at lushhairsweet.com. This is a new texture that I'm providing, so it's not on my site today, but it will be up there in the next couple weeks or so. Also, I have ready to ship units on my site, as well as just bundles, closures, frontals, braided units, all that good stuff. So because this was the beauty shop episode and I gave all that extra stuff throughout this recap, with the hair and the looks and all that stuff, now you understand that's really my lane. I really enjoy talking about hair and beauty and makeup and all that good stuff. So if you are interested in the units I wear and the units I made, then you can visit lushhairsweet.com. And if you are interested in more recaps like this, then please like, subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below. Let me know if you like videos like this, what you liked about this video or didn't like, and let's get into a conversation down below. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.